In November of 2022, an app called Lensa exploded across social media. Celebrities, influencers, and millions of ordinary people uploaded their selfies and got back stunning AI generated portraits. For $799, you could see yourself as a space warrior, a Renaissance painting, or a cyberpunk hero. It was magical, it was viral, and at its peak, Lensa was making almost $8 million per day. But behind the magic was something darker. Women were getting hypersexualized without consent. Artists discovered their work had been stolen to train the AI. Users didn't realize they had just given away the rights to their faces forever. This is the story of how a Russian copycat app rode the AI wave, engineered a perfect viral loop, extracted 70 plus million dollars in 60 days, and disappeared before anybody could stop them. It is a story about timing, exploitation, and what happens when AI meets unregulated capitalism. It is the dark side of AI, not beautiful and strategic like AlphaGo that we spoke about a couple of episodes before, but this is morally messy and ruthlessly profitable. Now, I had to add a disclaimer that this represents my analysis and commentary based on the publicly available information and reporting. All right. So let's get back to our story. This is December of 2022, and your Instagram feed is suddenly full of them. What is them, you ask? That your friends, your colleagues, celebrities, all posting the same thing. AI generated portraits of themselves, stunning, artistic, and impossible to ignore. There is your coworker as a warrior princess, your college friend as a cyberpunk hero, a celebrity you follow rendered in the style of a Renaissance painting. The captions all say the same thing: Lensa AI with a fire emoji. You think, that's cool. I want to try it. You download the app. You upload 10 to 20 selfies. You pay 7.99. And a few minutes later, the app gives you back 50 portraits of yourself in styles you have never imagined. It feels like magic. What you don't know, what almost nobody realized in that moment, is that you just participated in one of the most ruthless wealth extraction schemes in tech history. You gave away the rights to your face. Women unknowingly consented to having their image sexualized by an algorithm. Artists had their life's work stolen without compensation, and a small team in Russia just made $8 million in one day. By the time anybody realized what was happening, Lensa had already extracted over 70 million US dollars and vanished into the regulatory fog. This is the story of Lensa AI, the story of how speed, timing, and moral flexibility created a fortune, and why it matters for everything we are building in AI today. Welcome back to the Identity Navigator. This is your host, Rohit. Let's go back to the beginning. To understand how Lensa won, you need to understand who they beat. In October of 2022, just 1 month before Lensa exploded, two indie developers launched an app called Avatar AI. Their pitch was simple: upload your selfie, and we will use AI to generate stylized portraits of you. Fantasy warriors, sci fi heroes, artistic renderings, all powered by a technology called Stable Diffusion. And this is basically an open source AI model that had just been released to the public a few months earlier. You and I could have used it if we wanted to. And Avatar AI was good. It worked and people liked it. They made a few $100,000 in their first month. Now imagine this, we're not talking about big corporations. These were two indie developers. And for these two developers, that is a huge win. Like, a few $100,000 in first month, that's crazy money. So they were proud and they thought that they have found product market fit. Around the same time, around another app launched, Profile Picture AI. Same concept. Upload selfies, get AI portraits, also doing decent numbers. So those were the first movers, the pioneers. They saw the opportunity early, built a product, and got to market first. But here is the thing about being first, you don't always win. Because while Avatar AI and Profile Picture AI were celebrating their moderate success, a team in Russia was watching, studying, reverse engineering, and they saw something the first movers didn't see. They saw the viral loop. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Prisma Labs. They're a Russian company founded by Alexei Moisenkov and a small team of engineers. They have been around since 2016, and their fame or claim to fame was an app called Prisma, a photo filter app that you might have heard of that used neural networks to turn photos into art. It was moderately successful, millions of downloads, but by 2022, it had faded. Now, folks, all of us know the App Store is brutal. Yesterday's viral app becomes today's forgotten relic. So in late 2022, Prisma Lab was looking for their next hit. And then they saw Avatar AI, they saw Profile Picture AI, and they realized this is it, this is the wave. But they just didn't copy the product, they optimized it for virality. Here is what they did differently. First, mobile first design. Avatar AI and Profile Picture AI were fine, functional, but Lensa was beautiful. The UI was smooth, the onboarding was frictionless, every screen was designed to get you from download to payment as fast as possible. They understood that in viral moments, you have about 30 seconds to convert someone before they lose interest. So they optimized every pixel for speed. Brilliant, if you ask me. The second thing that they did differently was immediate paywall. Avatar AI let you try the product before paying. Lensa didn't. You uploaded your selfie and then bam, paywall. 7.99 for 50 avatars, limited time offer. This is a dark pattern. You have already invested time uploading your photos. You are emotionally invested. You want to see the result. They are not asking for a crazy amount of money, and so you pay. And here is the genius. They didn't just charge $799. They buried it in a subscription model. The default option was actually a $35.99 per year subscription, disguised as a free trial. Most users didn't realize they had just signed up for a recurring charge. The third thing that they did differently was viral mechanics was built into the product itself. When you got your avatars back, the app made it effortless to share them. One tap and your portrait was on Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, and every shared portrait became an ad for Lensa. Think about the loop. I share my portrait, my friends see it, they want their own, they download Lensa, they share their portraits, their friends see it. The loop compounds. By very definition, a viral post. This is textbook viral engineering. And Prisma Labs had done it before with their original Prisma apps. They knew how virality worked. And the fourth thing that they did was the timing. And this is the most important part. Lensa launched their MagicAvatars feature in late November 2022. Do you know or can you guess what else launched in the late November of 2022? ChatGPT. ChatGPT launched on November 30th, 2022. It exploded. Suddenly, everyone was talking about AI. AI was everywhere. The entire cultural zeitgeist shifted to what can AI do? And Lensa was sitting there with a product that answered that question in the most shareable, ego gratifying way possible. AI can make you look amazing. So they didn't create the AI wave, they rode it. So in November of 2022, Lensa launches Magic Avatars. At first, it's slow, a few thousand downloads, some early adopters trying it out. But Prisma Lab isn't worried. They know how virality works. They just need the spark. And then on November 30th, the spark happens. MKBHD, or Marcus Brownell, one of the biggest tech influencers on the planet, posts his Lensa avatars. Millions of followers see it, and the floodgates open. Within 24 hours, Lensa downloads spike 631%, from 219,000 downloads on October to 1.6 million downloads in the first week of December. By December 5th, Lensa is the number one app in the App Store. Do you know who were the other apps that Lensa beat? It was ahead of YouTube, ahead of Instagram, ahead of TikTok. Celebrities started posing their avatars. Influencer post theirs. Your coworker post theirs. Your mom post hers. Everybody wants in. And here is what happens behind the scene. Prisma Lab is printing money. At 7.99 per user, with 1.6 million downloads and an estimated conversion rate of 20 to 30%, they are making millions per day. Some estimates put their peak revenue at $8 million in a single day. Not bad for a day's work. So let me say that again, $8 million in one day. And for context, most successful apps make that in a year. Lensa made it in 24 hours. Over the next 60 days, Lensa generated an estimated 70 to $75 million in revenue. This is one of the fastest wealth extraction in tech history. Faster than Flappy Bird, faster than Pokemon's Go early days, faster than almost anything before it. And it is all happening in a regulatory vacuum. No one is checking if this is ethical. No one is asking about consent. No one is questioning the terms of services. The app is just taking, taking your photos, taking your money, taking your data, and scaling exponentially. Okay, so now everyone is posting their Lensa avatars. It's fun, it's viral, it makes you look beautiful, cool, and it feels harmless. But then people started noticing things. The first problem was sexualization. Women who uploaded normal selfies, professional headshots, casual photos, family pictures started getting back avatars that were inappropriate, hypersexualized, revealing clothing that wasn't in the original photos, poses that felt suggestive, and in some cases, avatars that looked almost pornographic. One user uploaded a photo of herself in a business suit. The AI gives her back an avatar where she is wearing a bikini top. Another user, a professional artist, uploads family photos, and the AI generates portraits where her chest is emphasized, her clothing is revealing, and the poses are suggestive. These women didn't consent to this, they uploaded normal photos. The AI sexualized them without asking. And here is the disturbing part, this wasn't random, this was how the AI was trained. So, Stable Diffusion, the open source model that Lensa is built on, was trained on billions of images scraped from the internet. And guess what, people? What's overrepresented on the internet? Sexualized image of women. So, when you feed the model a photo of women and ask it to generate artistic portraits, it defaults to what it learned. Women should be posed in ways that are sexualized because that is what was in the training data. Algorithm wasn't evil. It was just optimized on biased data. And nobody at Prisma Lab bothered to check. Or maybe they did check and didn't care because it wasn't slowing down growth. I guess we will never know that. The second problem was art theft. Artists started noticing something eerie. They looked at Lensa avatars and recognized their own style. One digital artist saw an avatar that looked exactly like her work. The brushstrokes, the color palette, the composition. It was her style applied to someone else's face. She hadn't consented to this. She had never licensed her work to Lensa. But her art, along with millions of other artists' work, had been scraped from the internet and fed into stable diffusion's training data. Now, this sparked a massive backlash. Artists started calling Lensa out. They said, "You're making millions of dollars using our work, and you didn't pay us. You didn't ask permission. You just took it." Prisma Labs' response, essentially, uh, this is how AI works. We're not copying your art, we are learning from it. But to the artist, this felt like theft. What do you think? Because they had spent years developing their style, and now an algorithm could replicate it in seconds, and someone else was profiting from it. The third problem, your face belongs to them now. Here is the part that almost nobody noticed in the moment. When you uploaded your selfies to Lensa, you agreed to their terms of service. And buried in that terms of service was a clause that said Prisma Lab now has a perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide license to use your photo. Let me translate that. You gave them your faces forever. They can use it to train future models. They can use it for marketing. They can use it however they want, and you can't take it back. Most users had no idea. They just wanted cool avatars. They didn't read the terms of service. Who does? Nobody reads the term of services. But now millions of people's biometric data, their faces, are sitting on Prisma Labs server forever. Think about what that means. Your face is one of the most unique identifiers you have. It's more personal than your social security number. And you just gave it away for 7.99 and some Instagram clout. So by mid December of 2022, the backlash is starting to build. Artists are organizing, they are creating hashtags, no to AI art and art theft. They are calling out Lensa on X, on Reddit, on every platform. Privacy advocates are raising alarms. They are writing articles. Did you just give Lensa the right to your face? While Lensa's term of service should terrify you. Women are sharing their sexualized avatars and saying, "This is not okay. I did not consent to this." And slowly the narrative starts to shift. What was fun and viral a few weeks ago is now starting to feel exploitative. Tech generally starts writing critical pieces. NPR publishes an investigation into Prisma Labs' history and finds that they have been involved in shady practices before, failed apps, and questionable data handling. The European Union started asking questions. GDPR, Europe's strict data privacy law, might not allow what Lensa is doing, so regulators start investigating. But here is the thing, by the time the backlash reaches critical mass, Lensa has already won. They have already made in excess of $70 million. The founders have already extracted the wealth, and they are a Russian company operating in a legal gray zone. Good luck regulating them. And then, in February of 2023, just 3 months after the explosion, the data shows something interesting. Lensa's revenue crashes. Downloads drop 90%. The viral loops break. People move on to the next thing. The AI photo app trends fizzles. Now competitors enter the market, the novelty wears off, and Lensa fades back into obscurity. But Prisma Lab doesn't care. They got what they came for. They rode the wave, extracted the value, and got out before regulations could catch them. So let me tell you what Lensa actually reveals. Because this story isn't just about one app, it's about a pattern, a system, and a new way that wealth is extracted in the AI age. First is speed beats ethics. Lensa wasn't first. Avatar AI was first. Profile picture AI was first. But Lensa was faster at scaling, faster at viral engineering, and faster at monetization. And in the time it took for anybody to ask, is this ethical? They had already made $70 million. So this is the new playbook. Move fast, extract value, and by the time regulators or critics catch up, you are already rich. Second was that open source AI is a double edged sword. Stable diffusion is open source. That's beautiful in theory. It democratizes AI. Anyone can use it and anyone can build on it, but anyone includes bad actors. Anyone includes people who will use it to exploit, extract, and profit without regard for consent or fairness. Lensa didn't build the AI. They just wrapped it in pretty interface and a dark pattern paywall, and that was enough to make billions. Third is virality is engineered and not accidental. Lensa didn't go viral by accident. They studied what worked, they optimized the UI, they timed the launch perfectly, they seeded influencers, they built the share loop into the product. This is what separates winner from the first movers: execution and speed, and understanding how human psychology works and exploiting it. Fourth is that nobody reads the term of service. You gave away your face. Millions of people gave away their faces for $799. And nobody realized what they were agreeing to until it was too late. This is the implicit contract of the modern internet: convenience in exchange for your data, your privacy, and your identity. And most people take the deal without even knowing they made it. Fifth, bias in AI training data creates real harm. The sexualization wasn't an accident, it was a direct result of training AI on biased internet data. And nobody at Prisma Labs cared enough to fix it. That is what happens when you optimize for speed and profit over safety and fairness. People get harmed, and the harm is distributed unequally. Women, minorities, and marginalized groups bear the brunt of algorithm bias. Sixth is that the regulation is too slow. By the time regulators started investigating Lensa, the moment was over. The app had already faded, the money had already been made. This is the fundamental problems with governing AI in the age of viral apps. The feedback loops are faster than governance. So by the time you write the rule, the system has already moved on. So let me connect this back to the bigger story I've been telling on this podcast. Glensa is the dark mirror of AlphaGo's Move 37 that we discussed a few episodes prior to this. Move 37 was beautiful. It was strategic. It revealed something profound about AI's capability. It was a moment where we saw intelligence that exceeded human intuition but felt almost noble. Lensa is the opposite. It's not strategic, it's not noble, it's ruthlessly exploitative. It's AI used not to push the boundaries of human knowledge, but to extract wealth as fast as possible from people who don't understand what they are agreeing to. Both are systems that moved faster than human oversight. Both made decisions, technical, business, ethical decisions, at speeds that exceeded our ability to govern them. AlphaGo moved faster than Lee Sedol could predict. Lensa moved faster than regulators could respond. One felt beautiful and one felt dirty, but both reveal the same truth. We have built systems that optimize so effectively, so quickly, that human governance is structurally too slow to keep up. And the people who understand this, the people who know how to ride the wave, execute fast, and extract value before anyone can stop them, they are winning. Now, here is what terrifies me about Lensa. I would be honest, it's not that they did something illegal. I am not a legal expert, anyways. But if I had to bet, I would say that they probably didn't do anything illegal. Most of what they did exist in legal gray zones. And it's not that they were uniquely evil. They were not. And I know some of you would not like me saying that, but dozens of other companies are doing similar things. Lensa just did it better. What terrifies me is that this is the new normal. This is how wealth gets extracted in the AI age. You find an open source model, you wrap it in a viral product, you optimize for speed, you ignore ethics, or don't worry too much about it, and you extract as much value as possible in the shortest time possible. And then you move on. Lensa made $70 million in 60 days, and then it faded. But the founders still have the money, they still own your biometric data, and they're probably already working on the next thing. And here is the scary part. Lensa is small. It's one app, one moment, just one viral wave. Now imagine this pattern scaled across the entire economy. Imagine hiring algorithms that optimizes for profit over fairness, moving too fast for HR to audit. Imagine pricing algorithms that extract maximum value for consumers who don't understand dynamic pricing. Imagine credit algorithms that makes decisions in milliseconds, perpetuating bias at scale. Imagine identity system, your and my word, where our biometric data gets captured, stored, and monetized without meaningful consent, all buried in terms of service that nobody reads. Each one is a Lensa moment. Each one is a system moving faster than oversight, and each one is wealth extraction at speeds that regulations cannot match. And each one is accelerating. The question is not, will more Lensas happen? They already are every day. The question is, what do we do when exploitation becomes the business model and speed makes it unstoppable? So, in December of 2022, millions of people uploaded their selfies to Lensa. They wanted cool avatars, they wanted to participate in the viral moment. What they didn't realize was that they were participating in something else, a wealth extraction machine that was moving faster than they could understand it. Nobody stopped to read the term of service. Nobody asked where is the data going. Nobody questioned why is this free trial activity a 35 or $36 per year subscription. They just did it because everyone else was doing it, because it was viral, because it felt fun. And by the time anyone realized what had happened, Prisma Lab had already made their money and moved on. So here is what I want you to take from this story. Speed is not the same as safety. Viral is not the same as ethical. And convenience is not free. You are paying with something. You just might not realize what it is until later. I want you to notice the next Lensa moment in your life, the next app that goes viral, the next product that feels too good to be true. The next time you are asked to upload something personal, your face, your data, your identity, in exchange for something fun. Pause, read the terms. Ask who benefits from this? What am I actually agreeing to? And is the trade worth it? Because Lensa was just the beginning. This pattern is going to repeat and it's going to accelerate. And the only defense we have is awareness, not regulation, because that's too slow. Not hoping companies will do the right thing. Sometimes they won't, because speed and ethics can beat ethics. And if you want to, it can beat it every time. So that leaves you, the last and the only line of defense, asking questions, demanding transparency, and saying no when the trade isn't fair. Thank you for listening and for spending time with this story. This is Rohit, your identity navigator. If you want to go deeper, if you want to understand how identity, data, and AI are colliding in a ways that most people don't see, subscribe to the podcast. You can also find me on my Substack, The Identity Navigator. I'm writing about these moments, I'm talking about these patterns, that systems that are moving faster than we can go on them. And if this episode resonated with you, I would request you to like it, share it, because these stories needs to be told. These warning needs to be heard. Until next time, stay aware and protect your identity. Because in the AI age, it is the most valuable thing that you own. Thank you for listening. This is Rohit, your identity navigator.